Before we start, I'm just gonna speed run some of the commonly asked questions to save some time. No, no, yes and no, no, no. Personally, I find it annoying after the 600th time. No, 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 doesn't exist yet, no and both. No, 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 no. That's classified. Blow it up with a RPG. Wouldn't you like to know? No and thank you. No, no. Blow it up with a RPG. No, no, no. Wouldn't you like to know? I could try, but not guaranteed. Some of them will have videos soon-ish. Alright, and that's 1/3 of the Q&A done. Now, to move on to some actual questions.
What do you think the channel will be focused on? Just planes or maybe more War Thunder? I plan on still doing the shenanigan videos. It's just, simply put, like, no one ever really watches them, and so it's like the roast videos are the ones that do really well. I still plan on uploading whatever I feel like. It's why I don't really primarily do the roast videos all the time, just because, simply put, that's not really something I'm always wanting to constantly upload. So I plan on still doing, like, you know, the roast videos and then the shenanigans and just general memes. Favorite tank? Going off of kind of cool factor, not going over stats, I really like the Tiger H1. I don't know why, I just like the look of the Tiger. I also like the Japanese Type 10s. They're like really cool looking, like almost looks, not, I want to say sci-fi, but it's just kind of like, it almost kind of feels like you put it in like a cyberpunk setting and it would fit. If we're talking about overall, like actual performance, I would have to say the Abrams. If you had to make your own Ace Combat game, how would you go about the terms of planes, weapons, and country? I would kind of like to, I almost want to do Erusia. I'm not too in depth of Ace Combat lore with the other countries. But I do find Erusia kind of an interesting place, based off of like Ace Combat 7, and I can't remember what other games that feature that country in. I kind of go about like kind of like the same style of Ace Combat 7. However, I would add a majority, or I would add a bigger list of aircrafts, even including like bombers, because we didn't really have that many in Ace Combat 7. So I kind of like if we had more aircrafts and even featured like older aircraft. I think would be kind of cool to be able to use like something like not, I don't want to say like sabers, but I think it would be cool to go to like the like be able to use like F-104s, F-105s, hell, even some like experimental aircraft that never really saw you know, service. What is your 7th favorite aircraft? I'll throw up the tier list on the screen. And basically that's just the order of things that I like. Tell us something remotely good about the Su-57. Well, it's an aircraft. It flies. I don't know. I mean, there's not just, the only problem is that it's like it's their first stealth aircraft, and like I will give them credit, like, you know, that they are actually able to produce it. And I think it can carry, yeah, it can carry more weapons, but I don't know. It's just, there's nothing really about it design-wise that really strikes me as like, man, this is a really good aircraft. Like the fact that it is that the, like a big one is the canopy. Like looking at pictures of it is like, you don't seem to have a lot of visibility in that aircraft. Especially for a stealth fighter compared to like, you know, the F-22, and yeah, sure, the F-35, you'd say the same thing, but I don't know the full capabilities, and anytime I hear about the capabilities in Su-57, I'm just, it's always been kind of like I don't know if that's actually true, my guy. Like, one of them was, there was a video that basically said that the Su-57 it also has a extra layer of stealthing with acoustic stealth, where the howl of the engines are so loud that it disrupts a radar and basically causes it to be more stealthy, which is like, I don't think, I'm not a specialist, but I don't think radio and sound waves interact with each other on like that scale. I think they do to some degree, but radar is a significantly different sound wave length than actual sound. Could we see some gameplay of War Thunder, but also include talking planes in them, like sort of funny videos? I could do something like that. That sounds more like something like what Killa West. I could do that. I definitely don't want to rip off his style. I know he did that for a little bit. With his missile guidance video system videos, so I could probably do something like that. I just don't want to exactly rip off his style. Favorite aircraft? F-16. Do you play Project Wingman?
No.
Did Raptor teleport bread?
I've been doing nothing but teleporting bread for 3 days.
There have you been sending it?
What is your current opinion on Russian mains and War Thunder? Man, they just been eating good. They just been getting, like, good shit after good shit. They've been getting SBAAs, like, out the ass every single update. And as I'm recording this, they are going to be getting the Su-34 with,
6 KH-38s.
So, and they're also getting a new SBAA. So that gives them the Strela, Tunguska, Pantsir, the Osa... the Shilkas, the Shilka with the Iglas. Yeah, they've just been eating good. They just keep getting like good shit after good shit, which is like, you know, I play top tier Russia, which is like, it's great to have more options, but I definitely think that them saying that there isn't a bias per se, and just saying, oh, it's a skill issue when, you know, you didn't kill a T-80 even though you went straight through the ammo. They're sometimes the most delusional. Well, I say that. German mains are pretty... American mains are pretty bad, too. I just feel like Russian mains are, like, almost know that they get some type of bias, and they abuse the fuck out of it, bro. I mean, seriously. I've done testing videos. Granted, the damage model for... the KA-50 and 52 helicopters has changed, but the fact that is that was like that a year ago when I made those videos, and the fact that is that theoretically speaking, you can tank as many missiles as you want as long as it hit the nose of the helicopter, is absolutely fucking wild to me. And the fact that is they keep getting like they just been getting good shit, bro. They got T-80s out the ass. They got SBAAs. They're getting like top tier aircraft. I mean, they're basically getting an Su-30. I'm sorry, this tangent's already going too long. Will you do any Project Wingman content? I don't know. I mean, there's not really too much content to make. I mean, unless you guys want me to do like a... Okay, I will say this. If you guys would like to see me play Project Wingman, what I'll do is I won't do like a normal gameplay, like, you know, where I'll just, you know, pick whatever. I'll let you guys decide what aircraft I fly and what weapons I should take. It'll be like a challenge video. I would like to see that, to see like what interesting combinations people come up with, like, I don't know, using a MiG-21 with guns only. I might do it modded just because I've already played Project Wingman unmodded at least like 2 or 3 times and beaten the story on the hardest difficulty. Although VR would be kind of fun. Okay, if you guys, yeah. So if you guys like to see like a challenge video where you guys recommend plane loadouts and different planes, I'll do that. Or if you want me to try playing the entirety of Project Wingman in VR, because I've only done a few missions in VR, I will gladly do VR in Project Wingman. That would be sick. First person too. That would be... Ooh, I'm not gonna feel good about that one. What does Abrams think about the Russian Armata tank? If I'm being completely honest, talking about the T-14, as far as I'm aware, the thing is not exactly the greatest of things, because that thing is, I think, almost about the same size, if not slightly bigger than an Abrams, but it still weighs about as much as a T-72, or a T-90, so it kind of doesn't have any armor besides like the ERA, and the gun is just like unprotected, like almost fully exposed. I mean, even Red Effect has done a video on it, and like a 20 or a 30 mil would be able to take out that cannon. So it's like, I mean, if it wasn't their main tank, and if it was supposed to be like a tank destroyer or like a recon tank, I think that would be kind of like, okay, I could kind of see that. But no, that is like supposed to be their main battle tank. The gun is basically borderline. It's like imagine making the Striker, like the M1128 Striker, as the main battle tank, and you just slap some armor on that. It's like, okay, I mean, sure, but all it takes is some guy with like a 50 cal, like, you know, sniper rifle, and he takes out the cannon. Like, not even taking out like optics, just okay. I know like Red Effect and Laserpig has done videos on it that I've watched quite a bit, and my conclusion is that they cooked and they gotta send it back to the kitchen, bro, because that ain't it, bro. I don't care what anybody says about it having like electronic, like, you know, countermeasures and all this new shit. Be like, it does not matter, because at the end of the day, you know, people talk about, oh, you could take out a tank with a drone, like $100 drone, and like a bomb or something like that, but you won't even need that. You just need to shoot at the cannon a little bit and you've just disabled it. Like, you don't need like like an infantryman could probably just throw a grenade on top of the tank and then boom, there, it's done. Done deal, tank destroyed. Opinions on the FAX. The problem is with NextGrad, or the next, the 6th generation, or NGrad is what's called. There's just nothing that actually exists that's like a physical model. It's kind of like the same thing with like the SU-75. It's just a mock-up. It's a 3D render. It doesn't actually exist yet. So, and for the people who say, oh no, the SU-75 does exist, okay, keep in mind that recording this is like, there's still no information that I know that's available that basically proves that the SU-75 is in working order or is operational. There's nothing. There's no proof. There's just articles that basically say, oh, they were talking about giving it to India, you know, potential buyer. But as far as I'm aware, it does not exist. I don't care what anybody says. You don't get to claim an aircraft exists with all these advanced electronics if it hasn't even left the runway where you took the photo shoot. If it doesn't fly, it doesn't exist. I don't care. Are you secretly Starscream?
Megatron has fallen! I, Starscream, am now your leader! Decepticons, follow me!
Alright, totally good question. Small diameter bombs or JDAMs? I mean, they're basically the same thing. Just JDAMs are just slightly bigger than the small diameter bombs. But if we're talking about like War Thunder, I'd probably take the small diameter bombs, just because you can carry more of them, which allows you to kill more AI targets in an RRB. But if we're talking about real life, I'd probably say JDAMs. Although small diameter bombs is definitely funny when they glide for like, you know, 10 miles after you just drop the bomb. What are your thoughts on more complicated flight simulators like DCS and Microsoft Flight Simulator? I think they're cool. They're definitely not my style of flying, because if I'm being completely honest, I really don't like the idea of having to essentially learn a flight manual just to take off in these aircraft. I just kind of want to have a more arcadey style. That's why I play a lot of War Thunder. For that kind of semi-real, like, you know, oh, you can turn on your engine, you have to flare, cut afterburner when flaring, because the missile will go after the heat source. But it's just, I've never been really it's like the same thing with Call of Duty and Battlefield. Like, I don't play Arma because I want that realistic, you know, scenario and stuff like that. I just kind of want to run and gun, and that's kind of like the same thing applies with, like, you know, aerial combat games. I don't really care for like the realism. That's why I don't play like GTA like RP servers, is because I don't care to be a garbage man and, you know, work a 9 to 5. I'm trying to have fun. I'm not trying to live a second life. What is your opinion about the 2008 financial crisis? Man, I should have been investing. You know, I should have bought a house, you know, when that happened. Instead of being in, like, you know, not 7th grade, like 3rd grade, 3rd grade. Shame on me. If the U.S. were to upgrade an aircraft to fight in space, which one would it be? I've gave some thought about it, because I saw this comment whenever I was going to originally do this Q&A like a month ago, that I never got around to doing. Honestly, the Harrier. Just because the way, movement in space works. The Harrier, you would just need to modify it and somehow create an engine that can work in space, like a rocket booster or something like that. Because it already has the nozzles that can swivel, so you would just need to attach some to the top and then be able to move from side to side. And honestly, I think a Harrier would probably be the best test bed. You would just need to heavily modify it, but I could totally see, and not to mention also like a weight weight would be a factor, but you could carry a significant more munitions because you're not worried about lift. It's just more of your thrust. Favorite pizza? Pepperoni. Never could go wrong with pepperoni pizza. Opinion on Prez and Project Wingman?
Best girl.
What's your source for using the Jet's history to make jokes and roasting it? Honestly, Wikipedia and maybe some other stuff that I read online, like different articles and stuff like that, with like the Haltageous, like looking up like the problems it had, and like some of the failed bids for it. But for the most part, I just use Wikipedia because at the end of the day, it's not a in-depth analysis. It's just a shitpost. And to the 20 people who are like, that's not correct, that's not actually historically accurate, I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't care. It makes me money, bro. I don't care.
It's not that kind of channel, bro. You're not that guy, bro. You're not that guy.
What do you do in your free time? I know a lot of these are going to be like, Raptor, asking the Raptor one, but it's more or less like kind of like the same thing with habitual line crossers, like Raptor. He just sits in his hangar all day. What I do on my own time, mostly just watch YouTube. I do a bit of stuff with creating characters in Kara Studio, like the scenes and stuff like that. That's kind of like what I do. Maybe a bit of Photoshop and stuff like that, messing with like some new effects, and then just primarily just playing video games like 90% of the time. It's why why my upload history hasn't been great, is because it's like, oh man, I can't wait to make a new video.
New DLC drops.
And it's like, fuck! Answer this or you're gay. Okay, I don't really see a problem with that, but alright. What do you hate the USSR and Russia so much? Frankly, just history. History-wise, they have never been a good country, ever. And I know I've heard from arguments from people be like, well, they have done this or that, so, like, they have the most nukes, and, oh, they made this. Like, so how could you hate them? And it's like, there are things that I like that came from there. I mean, hell, I have an AKM, like, although it's a Serbian build. I've always been like a big fan of the AKs and even some Russian aircraft, but that doesn't mean I have to like the country. Because in the fact that you just open up a history book, and yeah, sure, the United States, has done some terrible things, but I feel like the USSR just kind of was trying to be the most evil, because besides, like, everyone talks about, oh, the Nazis that killed, the Jews and stuff like that. But then Russia, they have killed more than their own people than what the Germans did in World War II. Not to mention, the whole ideology behind, communism and stuff like that. Like, the fact that is that, after the war, when they had their hands on Germany, their best course of action was not to rebuild Germany into a better country, because clearly punishing them the first time didn't work out, especially not keeping a close eye. So what did the Russians do? They just simply tried to starve them to death with the Berlin Wall, and it's like, they literally committed human rights violations. Like, and yeah, sure, you could say the U.S. has done the same, but I feel like there's a difference between secretly trying to do it and then, like, being just open about it. Just no conspiracy theories. Like, they did it. They were refusing to feed people. They were willing to starve them to death if it meant getting the West out. And frankly, I don't agree with any of their ideology. Not to mention also that, you can say that Russia is a democracy, they have a president, but if your president has had 5 terms and he's been in power for 20 plus years, is quite insane to me. Like, just think about how long Putin has been in power and then apply that same logic. Because if you want to go, like, from, like, 2000s to, like, 2020, George Bush would still be president if we took that presidency. That's insane to me. To think that you would have someone in power for that long. That is not a democracy. That is a dictatorship. I don't care what you say. There's a lot of other things with the Russians, especially just their whole culture, like of like backstabbing each other, being so worried about X, Y, and Z. I could keep going on about this, but the fact that is that I could literally disagree with somebody in the current government, in my country, and not get shot for it. I'm just, it's not illegal for me to say I currently don't like the president or the current government. I'm allowed to say that. But over there in Russia, you get either shot or you get put into re-education camps. And there's no, that doesn't exist. No, it does exist. It does. There's people that were protesting, against, the Ukraine war, and they just get straight up fucking arrested. Like, it's illegal to be gay in Russia. Excuse me? Like, I'm not a huge supporter for that stuff, but I find it kind of ridiculous that you force your ideology so hard that you literally make it like a death sentence if you're like gay in Russia. I know that's not exactly like that extreme, but it's just the fact that is that you have to basically be pro-Russian. If you're not pro-Russian, you will be shot. Or locked up into, the Siberian prisons for however many years. I mean, it's not as bad as, say, like North Korea that punishes your family if you get, say something bad about the government or if you leave the country, but it's not really any better. Let's be real here. Where'd you get the idea for this channel? I just upload random stuff that I want to upload. Originally, I was going to upload, like, edits and stuff like that, and then I thought of the idea of doing, gaming videos, like funny moments and gameplay stuff and whatnot. And then the roast videos was just kind of more of a shit post, and then that kind of exploded, especially with the AI voices. So it's kind of like I said before, the roast ideas were never really the main intent of the channel. It was just kind of more something like a byproduct. It was something I thought would have been funny, and now it's like my most popular thing, and it's not something I'm always trying to do. But that's pretty much the whole idea that I got for the channel was that I just kind of like almost like originally I wanted it to be like how Russian Badger does a lot of his videos, where he just basically just does whatever the hell he wants. He just uploads whatever he's been playing, and I kind of like that. Just be not be yourself, but just you play a game because you want to, not because it's popular. Do you pay your taxes?
Legally speaking, I have to say yes.
Will you ever do streams of your videos? Be able to join? Yeah, I definitely want to do something like that, like what I did with my War Thunder SPAA versus airplanes. I really would love to do something a bit more of that, kind of like what Iron Armanian does with, like, he'll, like, what was it? It was like Battleship versus like 64 or 63 L3s. Like, I would love to do shit like that. How long have you been playing War Thunder? I started playing War Thunder in about 2016 when I was in high school. On the MacBook Pros that we had, which I got like 20 frames a second on that. And I took like a long hiatus from it until I started playing like 2019, 2020 again. I would occasionally play it here and there, but War Thunder was always kind of like never had premium planes or premium vehicles, no premium time, so I was kind of like, I wasn't really playing the game all that much. Do you play Ace Combat?
No.